scared around here. I don't know where to park. Another day gone. I'm losing my mind at the moment. It's like all the months and the years blending together, and I'm frantically trying to make something in my life. And it's a bit over now, you know, like being older, but I like the idea of doing the same, doing nothing, you know, with the rest of it. Yeah. I don't know. I've really been making videos in a while. I've been a month without alcohol now. Over a month sober, which is weird for me. I do go through phases of not having booze anyway. Most people probably think I'm quite a heavy drinker because I'm usually pissed in most of my videos, but I only really ever get around to making videos when I drink. I don't normally sit around drinking very often. I mean, out of the times that I do drink, it's probably only about 2 times. I probably only drink about 2 times for every time I've made a video where I'm drinking in it. But I've been about a month or so without it because I saw something on Facebook like how you've got like No Nut November and all of that shit, and there was something where it was just like saying, you know, for something to do with like prostate cancer or something, to like go a month without sitting around on the couch watching TV and a month without without drinking. And I think I pretty much did both. Like I did watch a movie with like a friend like a couple of times and stuff, but I don't sit around in the daytime anymore. I haven't played like Xbox or anything in like probably well over a year. I mean, I had to go on my friend's PlayStation like one day, and that's just because I was with somebody that, yeah, so it wasn't that hard for me. Holy shit, is that my sister? I fucking thought it was. It looked a lot like her. Only one dog though. My sister's got like 4 of them now. Keeps adopting more and more dogs. Anyway, so yeah, my experience with no booze. It's actually been not too bad. I went to the dentist though a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, man, I'm gonna have to break my no alcohol thing because of going to the dentist. Because normally I have something to drink when I go to the dentist, because I don't have any anesthetic when I go to there, because I don't like needles in my mouth, and I find alcohol helps me take the edge off of it. I mean, listening to music always helps. I always have to listen to music. I can't just sit there and, you know, just hear the sound of the fucking drill, and that's awful. I mean, so I could not have booze and be like, oh, you know, I'm fucking harder than that. I don't have to have any drink or any anesthetic, but you know, it's like, why go through more pain than you have to? It's not a nice experience going to the dentist, and it's still fucking hurt. I thought I was going to have a root canal, but I didn't. They actually managed to fix the big hole I had in my tooth. It's been like there for like 2 years. Never bothered to do anything about it because it's so expensive going to the dentist, and I used to work like 40 to 50 hours a week for like the last couple of years, so I didn't really have time to do that. You know, take time off the job, because if you take time off the job, you spend money to go to the dentist, and then you also lose out on money from not going to your job. Anyway, I got through the dentist without drinking, so bad time for me to do it, but yep, I kept to my thing. I had yesterday, after like throughout the whole month, I tried, I felt like drinking yesterday because I just felt so like empty and lost, like when I was just sitting down thinking. But pretty much nearly every day I find that there's not enough hours in the day for me to do what I want. I don't have the time to drink anymore, like really, like I don't want to waste the whole day just sitting around like drinking, because I find that when I start doing something, I don't have enough time even to finish during the day, and need to get a place that's bigger to myself, so that way I can just do this through into the night, get a lot more done, because I need to get the fuck out of this place. I want to go back to drinking. What I found though is it actually does help your skin a bit. Like, I mean, I can't really help the fat loss, but I can help like just something about the quality of it. Like, I find if I cut out drinking, it sort of helps a little bit in a way. So that's a bonus. But yeah, sometimes I feel like the reason why I drink though is because life gets somewhat like overwhelming, and it feels like if you ever sit there and have the feeling of like hopelessness and just things just like futile, that you can't really do anything about it, sort of like the best you can do out of a situation is just to get off your face and just forget it for a few hours. That's sort of what I think about alcohol. Like, don't get me wrong, I actually enjoy it, and like it's like, say if I was younger, I had a whole heap of money and a social life, and I was out there like in my car with like multiple people, because I've never really drove around with more than one person, you know. I've never had a group of friends in my car. I've been in my old friend's car and we had a few people, but I was never the person who knew enough people that I had like a carload of people. But if I had that kind of thing, and then I had the money to go out and do a lot of cool stuff and whatever, I would drink, because it's kind of like, drinking is sort of like the icing on top of the cake, you know, sort of thing, or the sugar, you know, whatever. Not that I hate sugar these days, because it's just bad for you, but what I mean, it's just like, it's like the seasoning on top. Like, alcohol just makes things better. It's like if you go out shopping, like you're going around shops, alcohol makes it better. I don't say the same for going to concerts though, because alcohol is one of the reasons I got kicked out of a concert like once. I got kicked out of there twice, but the first time was because I was so pissed. They said that I looked like I wasn't able to stand properly, and yeah, I don't like alcohol at like night time, like late at night, going to bars, because that's, you know, like people, if someone wants to fight you and have a go at you, they tend to attack you when your guard is down, you don't even realize, and when you're pissed, you can't really do all that much half the time. Alcohol in the daytime is good, and bloody wasps, man. I don't trust them, eh? Anyway, so yeah, I haven't really had the time, but I want to get back into it, and I'm looking forward to having, if I can fix my health shit up somehow. That's one of my things that keeps me wanting to go on, just the hope. It's like a bit of candy or some shit, or a lolly or something on like a carrot on a string, and it's like you can't reach it, but you know it's there, and you think one day I might just be able to do that. And that's kind of the thing that makes me think it'll all be worth it, because in 2019, when I was actually so optimistic and just really feeling like I could have what I want and things in life, you know, like I was younger then. Unfortunately, like I've gotten older, so that I kind of let that ship sail in that regard, that even if I could get my like health back and body back to how it was and all that, I'm, you know, like just the age thing, you know, I'm a bit older now, so even like 3 years ago, I still passed as somebody who was like maybe like 26 or something. So yeah, but now it's like getting older, it's like I don't quite fall into the category of being able to have like friends and meet people and things, because it's like, you know, I've noticed one thing about social lives is that when you get to a certain age, people just stop socializing, people stop wanting to associate with you and everything, and it's not even to do with who you are as a person or how you look, it's just, that's just how it goes, you know. You just notice that, you know, like a few years ago, you know, you just see how people treat you. Yeah, and it's like everybody that I've known or grown up around or whatever, their social lives just aren't what they are when they were younger. Some people argue things like, oh, they just don't have time anymore, they're married, they all have kids and jobs, but that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. People had jobs when I was younger, they still found time to see each other and do things, you know, and they had relationships sometimes, and it's not true at all. It's just people just change, you know. They just subconsciously figure out that, you know, that it's no longer appropriate. You know, it's just like when you turn like 12, 13 or whatever as a kid, you stop playing with certain toys and things, or however old you are, you know, like it just becomes a thing, you know, like you just know to move on. And my problem is that I can't move on from that, and most guys can't either. They do, but I can't ever accept that, the whole thing, because in my mind, like, if I could be put back into like an 18-year-old body, like if I could go in a machine and turn my body back to being like 17 or 16, but just keep my mind as it is, so I wouldn't go back to being some idiot like teenager, but I could easily go back to that and fit into that, you know. Like, I mean, it's not that I want to hang out with a bunch of young people who are idiots necessarily, but I kind of do still have that mentality. Like, it's like, you know, being in a cage, only the cage is your body, sort of thing. It's just looking at the outside world, you know, and you can't get out there. It's just sad, you know. It's like I'm not ready to move on and get old and whatever. It's like I want to have that young social life and everything again, and it really sucks, you know. Anyway, I'm rambling and going on about shit. Yeah, so that blows. It's quite depressing, especially with the impending worries about health and everything. I just wish I could be younger again and mix with people, like, and it's not even that you're different as a person or whatever. It's just once you get to a certain age, it's like people don't want to hang out with you because you're older, or they stop hanging out with each other. And it's, I know that it's not because of me, because I didn't have that problem like a few years ago. People are open to it. It's the same way as that if you're attractive, people are open to wanting to have relationships, but as soon as a guy gets, like, puts on a whole lot of weight and loses looks, or he loses his hair, like, it no longer attracts people, and they just, and then if they got back to how they used to be, it starts happening again. It's like, yeah. But anyway, it's crap, really, to be honest, how things are. I really miss that. And I was talking to a guy that I know, like, recently, who was saying how much he misses how things were like 10 years ago, and how he used to hang out with, like, the old friend group that we were that we'd go to spend time with and shit, you know, and just drink, and none of us had real cares about anything. And it's, I think, like, the hippies had the right idea, really, I think. Just hang out in a field, you listen to music, get stoned, and just people, you know. Like, I mean, I hate all that degenerate shit, like people who are like hoary and the whole, you know, the mentality of girls these days. But, you know, I just think that, you know, they just had a peaceful way about it. They weren't just like rampant degenerates, you know, like man-whoop type people. They were all just like pretty much free of normal sort of things, you know, like, and just the whole thing of not being, you know, people call that lazy, and everything. Oh, you don't, oh, they didn't want to work, they didn't want to cut their hair and all that, and just sit around getting stoned and drinking and listening to music. But it's like, what does a job do for you? Most people aren't even better off with their jobs. All their pay goes to traveling, maintaining their car. You know, some people get up at 6 in the morning, whatever, in the big cities, catch a train across town. Public transport is fucking horrible, man. I mean, I don't even know what in the hell this guy was sniffing, but there was this guy, he thought he knew me from frickin' prison. I'm like, what the f***? And he was just trying to say, oh, you remember me from frickin' whatever the hell jail. I'm like, what the hell, man? I had no idea who the hell this guy was. And he was huffing like this bag of yellow stuff, and it looked like piss, and it smelled like chemical and glue and shit. I was like, what the f***, man? I don't want to be around these kind of people. And sometimes when they start swearing and fighting, and they try like getting really aggressive at the bus driver because, you know, they think he's been rude, or he hasn't stopped at the right thing, or, you know, it's really off-putting. I hate public transport. I hate being around that kind of tension, you know. I'm a very peaceful person, even though I say some horrible things online. I nut out at people, but who piss me off, like liberals and stuff, but and people who disagree with me. But no, I'm generally peaceful. I don't like conflict. Don't like tension, and it just stresses me the hell out. So, yeah, I don't like public transport, but some people do that, you know, like, that's why you absolutely need to have your own vehicle all the time, you know. Having the bus and the train's all good once in a while in the daytime, but sometimes, but yeah, it's just, you want to avoid all that bullshit, you know. Avoid those creepy ass people. Anyway, some people get up early, catch the bus, the train, whatever, or drive, you know, hours or whatever, hour to their fucking job. Go to this job that takes all the freaking life out of them, pays them enough to keep their car running or whatever, to pay their rent and their freaking food, gives them enough money to buy their smokes or drown their alcohol or their stupid freaking online subscriptions, or buy a few meaningless material possessions, and then that's it. You know, some of them might be getting a bit more wage, that they end up getting some house out of it eventually after a fucking few decades, but in general, I mean, a lot of people spend a long time in this and they're just worse off. And you see how people look, like, and how they talk, you know, like, some people just downright freaking miserable with it. That's why I don't buy into that shit when people are at the freaking supermarkets and they say things like, oh, how are you doing today? And then I'm like, you know, I'm same old. And then they're like, oh, and then I'm like, what about you? And they're like, oh, good, thanks. I'm like, no, you're freaking not. Freaking, don't you lie to me, son. You know, it's like, you tell me that you're freaking doing this shit for minimum wage, Skyline scumbag. You're telling me that you're doing this shit for minimum wage, and then, yeah, like, you're freaking happy about it. I'm like, that's a load of bullshit. The thing is, anyway, is, that whole hippie thing just seems way better than that, eh? Like, just sitting out in the sun, listening to music, having those big music festivals, those painted up buses, you know, lying out in the field, drinking, listening to music. I think that'd be great, really. I miss feeling like younger and stuff. I can't even, the weird thing is I can't even remember it properly. Probably to do with my condition or a head injury or something, but I can't remember it that well. I know what for some things I do, but I don't know how I didn't feel like I do now back then, you know, like, I guess I took life for granted because I was in a miserable situation. But yeah, I don't know. I did drink back then. I started drinking when I was like 18, but it sounds like a long time. And it is, but I was never, I didn't drink really that much. Not a huge amount, like once or twice a week, but I didn't every week, you know. I would be like every now and then. I don't know, I can't really remember, but yeah, I just use it to cope anyway with things, really, to be honest. But at the same time, it's like, if I can get the self sorted, like, that's my thing I want to keep going. And I just like, I'm looking forward to the day that I can walk into that fucking shop, sit down on my new freaking motorbike, and just like that's one of the, to me, that's like one of the things to live for. It's just to get a new Harley. That's just it, really. About 13 grand for one I want. Over 20 grand in the shop, my dream one, but I could get what I'm after for probably about 13. So yeah, I'll try and get the sales sorted if I can, but in the meantime, just work like a f***ing animal at my projects to try and get as much money as I can. Find a way, I guess, do whatever I can to do it. You know, the f***ing grind, and I really mean a grind. It'd be a f***ing bitch of a thing trying to save up that for even like couple of $100 a day is just, it's too inefficient, too slow to get that kind of money. And when you think about it, like, it's so, like, we live at opposite ends of the scale. It's like, when you see how much an average girl gets, like, it used to be, an average girl would be pretty much worth like nothing financially, and you know, a trade worker like would be outdoing her like by tons. And it's like, now if you're a 19-year-old girl, you know, like you'd be laughing at doctors' incomes, because it's like you see their money that they get on, like how many of them are getting these insane wages, like 50, 100 grand a month on freaking OnlyFans with just taking photos and videos of themselves. It's just insane, you know. You bust your ass doing physical stuff, you know, work like a fucking dog for like days and get like about $1,000 or a couple of $1,000, and then you get people like that, you know, take your photos in their bedroom, going down to the mall and buying designer freaking shit. They don't even have to break a sweat, you know. They don't have to do all this, and you know, they get like their money, you know, like they could buy like my dream car every month. Imagine just taking a bunch of fucking pictures in your bedroom, and then after a month you've got enough money, you know, a couple of months down the track you got enough money to buy a Dodge Charger, a new Harley, and a whole lot of freaking like gear, and it's unfathomable to me, you know. Like, you see old men and shit like fucking working for fucking years to get like these things, and there's girl just a couple of months, say, no qualifications, just OnlyFans is like the bane of the fucking internet, man, for females. It's like, it's just insane how they can do this. So it's just a bit in the face to all the guys out there who are working, you know, like, but it's basically like a hack. It's like a life hack because of the situation, you know. It's like it's come around at the perfect time where male loneliness and desperation is there to be profited off, you know. I mean, things like the dating apps and Tinder and whatever have made men incredibly desperate, to the point that so many of them are demoralized because they think that they're not good enough, considering like 5% of men are getting all the matches, you know. And men are completely downtrodden and demoralized, and because they can't get anything, they feel like they have to keep lowering their standards lower and lower and lower to the point that they have none. So therefore they're trying to get, you know, your average girl is basically out of reach, and they're trying to settle for like 3s and 4s, and even the 3s and 4s aren't probably really having it, you know. So to them, an average or a slightly like even above average girl looks like a fucking Ferrari to them. So that's why, you know, well, it's crazy, you know. Men are so demoralized and desperate that they're bloody paying these girls online for photos, and there's just so many millions of these guys. I don't know what the fuck has made them so like that desperate, because I mean, I've been a long time without I've been a long time without like being with somebody like that or anything, but I can't understand at what breaking point a man has to go through to start paying people for photos. Like, that's a level of desperation that I just can't understand. But there's millions of guys doing this, to the point that these girls are getting like just a ridiculous amount of money. It's just so fucking unbelievable, you know. It's like if I had the money of an OnlyFans girl for like 2 months, I could buy like my dream car, my dream bike, go to like all of the places in the world that I wanted to fucking visit, I reckon, you know, like, or at least like 5 of the main ones I want to see. I could get my dream watch, I could buy a new van with like fully like done up like how I want for traveling. Probably buy like all the rest of the tools I want that I don't have that I want. Bunch of new freaking things for my other jobs and stuff. Like, I don't get it, eh? How the hell has society slipped this far that they found a cheat code to get like, you know, it's crazy to think that if I was like a girl and I was like 20 years old, I could be like multi-millionaire, because all I'd need to do would be to leech off of men's hobbies, you know. All I'd need to do would be go out, like work an average job for about, you know, 6 months maybe, get enough to buy like a gaming PC, buy like a Xbox One or Xbox something and a PlayStation to go with it. You know, buy a bunch of wigs, some makeup, you know, put some freaking stuff, some freaking pillows inside my shirt to make it look like I have tits. Go on freaking Twitch, pretend to like gaming so all the nerdy guys can think, oh, she's cool, she's like me, and freaking subscribe to you. Then create a Instagram, plug your Instagram from your freaking Twitch account so you get a whole lot of photos. Take a bunch of bedroom photos, you know, say to the guys how much you like gaming even though you couldn't give a shit. Pretend to play with a controller while all the fucking nerdy guys are sitting there thinking, oh my god, she's perfect, you know. And then it's fucking sit around in my bedroom all day playing Xbox games or whatever and pretending to talk to men, and then say, oh, I've got a fucking OnlyFans after you've got enough followers on that shit, and then reap the rewards, you know, and then use the money from that to get BBL surgery, because apparently looking like a caricature of like extreme femininity is what's attractive these days, you know, like a exaggeration, you know, like an hourglass figure taken like well over the top, and then having like implants, and then just wear like a fucking pastel colored wig and ridiculous like gaming headset and bunch of clown paint on my face, and I'd be reaping the rewards, man. I'd be traveling all around the fucking world, buying like and have like my own house with, you know, like quadruple garage, Ferrari, fucking not, and I wouldn't even buy that shit, you know. I don't want no plastic unreliable Italian sports car, but I'd be able to buy like all the cars that I wanted, all that shit. Just like they found the fucking cheat code, and here's me for the last 10 years and how long trying to get like 15 grand for my fucking new motorbike. Hate it, it's bullshit. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna try, I'm trying to get money from a few sources, so I'm hoping all these things can bring me in enough to get my vehicle sorted, get the fuck out of here. But it all depends if I can get treatment and shit. If I can't, well, then I have to travel, but down the track I need like to get 20 grand for a fucking procedure done. 22 grand. But hopefully if I get this treatment I won't need that. But yeah, it seems really hard, the grind, man. The 2 hands on the handle just grinding away like to get this kind of money. It's just so hard. So I can't afford to really drink alcohol at the moment, you know, and sit around and waste days because I don't have days. I want to, by the end of the year, I want to be, if I can get my health, if I can, that depends, if I can find somebody to help me. That's the hard part, because this isn't mainstream shit. I need to find somebody that has access to what I need. I need somebody to look at my research, help me through it, and be able to give me the blood tests that I need. And if I have the blood tests, then, and I have what I think wrong, then treat it with what I'm after, and then be monitored, because I need to find the regular levels and make sure that I am regularly staying at it. Because if my body is no longer producing this certain protein, that'd mean that taking it like as a an outside way, like, you know how say people diabetics need to take insulin like regularly because your body isn't producing it. It's like you'd need to take this regularly, I suppose, because your body ain't producing it. You're going to need to keep doing it because it'll only last so long. So I need to make sure I can take the right amount and not more than it, but enough so that I have it. So I'm going to need to find somebody who can monitor these with regular bloods for something that regular blood labs don't even test for. So it's a really fucking horrible predicament that I'm trying to get over, but I need to find the right person, because I can't give up on this. There's too much I want to fucking do, you know. It's like I have like long-term goals and things that it's like, even though I feel like they're kind of worthless now, like once you're over 30, it's like nothing really matters anymore, you know, because your social life is dead, and humans thrive on that. Like, I was never socially good, right? But at least back then people were open to talking to me, and I did have, like, I could make some friends and things, you know. I sometimes unfortunately ended up as the odd one out. I would be in an awkward situation, you know how you go, if you're in a group and you're the, like, quiet one or whatever, you get pushed to the side, or, you know, like, people start to pick fights or something because you're, like, not blending in and things, you know, like weird shit like that. But at least I did have some social life and things, and it's like, it feels like, you know, without that, you know, you kind of need that. Like, that's why so many lonely guys get so messed up in the head, you know, because we're not meant to be isolated and things. And girls would get like that as well, but they just don't have to deal with that sort of shit the same way that guys do until they reach the age of, like, 30 something, you know, or whatever. And even then, you know, as they get older, there's still guys who are, like, older than them who want to know them and all this fucking crap. So they have a free ride through life compared to us, you know, for the most part. But yeah, so it sort of feels like it's pointless, but at the same time it's like I don't want to quit because this is the only life that I'm given. You know, as much as I would love to go back to being like 5 years old or 6 years old and just have my mind as it is now and just start again, I would love to be able to do that. But, you know, I have to, it's like all I can do is play the hand that was dealt, you know. So I got to work with that. So I'm gonna try and do a bunch of things. Like, I mean, I'll never be able to be like have desire from people to, you know, and as much as I realize that I want that, you know, to be able to find that partner and things, and to have the ability to have relationships. And, you know, most humans will get really f***ed up in the head if they never experienced what they find to be like a proper sexual experience, you know, like to be, you know, be able to get with somebody they find like who's like the ideal partner or attractive or whatever, you know. Like, most people get really f***ed up if they never get to experience that. So I'm always going to have that on my mind, because just simply put, unless I get like incredibly rich somehow by some fluke like lotto or something, I'm never going to be able to experience that. But even then, if I did have that kind of money, it wouldn't be out of desire. It'd just be, you know, because somebody's a gold digger. But it also makes me think that desire is really cheap and just shallow and meaningless in a way, because it's completely conditional. Because if they only like you because you look handsome, it's like, that doesn't really count, because they don't like you. They just like the form that you happen to have been born with, you know. It's not even you, it's just you just lucked out and people like you for it, which is really so at the same time I feel like even if I could be one of those guys, it'd be so depressing in a way that you'd think that the people really who are paying you all attention don't even care about you. It's the same as like if you had a lot of money and like a Ferrari and things, and you had guys wanting to hang out and be friends with you because they think you're cool because of it, and it's in reality they don't really care about you. They just want to be around you because you can entertain them and you've got money and things to be used, you know. It's the same with being, you know, if you're good looking with guys, you know, these girls who are nice to you, the ugly guy, they would treat him like a monster, you know, like he was a horrible bad person. I wouldn't want anything to do with people like that. But at the same time, it's like you can't really fight your animal instincts that well, and you know that you just really wish you could experience it, because it's like as repugnant and horrible, just downright like atrocious the characters of girls are, and how much hate they have towards unattractive guys, and how terribly they treat guys and disrespect them for their faces, and see how they talk about short guys. It's disgusting. But as people, they're absolutely just horrible. But at the same time, it's like when you see somebody you find physically attractive, it's like you just forget about all that, and it's like you just think, I wish I was good enough for that, you know. And it's just sad that you'll never be able to achieve that shit, you know, that you'll never be able to be good enough for that. So that's the hard thing. But I feel like even if I can't have that, I still want to live for doing certain things, you know. Like, I mean, before I had this fucking health crap happen, I was really like, I was optimistic about life, probably because I was younger and things. I thought that I could still improve. At the time I thought, you know, I could get all these fillers or potentially get a bunch of surgeries and things, I would have been good enough. But at the same time, it's also because I thought that I could have more of a life than I did in my shitty hometown. And you know, I look forward to thinking that one day there'll be, if I can get my health sorted, there'll be a summer where I have my body back to normal, I put on more weight again, and I'm lying out on a beach with my convertible with me, and I've got my coconut and vodka drink, like a coconut filled with vodka, and just lying out on a beach watching a sunset at night time on some like island where it's really hot at night. And that's why I think, you know, like that's what keeps me going. And then thinking about after that, I'll have my motorbike in my bedroom, probably next to my bed, and I'll have the money to just do my own thing and not get up at 6, 7 in the morning for some horrible job, but just have the whole day ahead of me and just go wherever I feel like and do what, you know, just exploring things. And that's what I'm looking forward to, you know. And I feel like as much as I hate some of the way things have ended up for me with this condition and getting older and everything, it's like I think it'd be worth it, you know, if I could, to a degree, if I could still enjoy some of those things in life. So at the moment I'm still trying to fight through this thing, get a hold of the right person and try and get treated, and just try and hopefully pray that I can get all of this stuff fixed before this thing gets worse, and try and save up in the meantime so I can get out and do a few things and do some of my goals and so yeah, so I can't really drink for a long time. I mean, I might end up doing it once in a while, but yeah, how I feel without booze, I don't know. My mind is so scrambled at the moment that I think that I feel like I can't really remember too much on how I feel with it. Like I can and I can't, but it's like I don't need it. But it's kind of like, say if you're walking downtown and you see like food that you haven't had for a while that you really like, and you're like, oh man, I'd really like to have that. I feel like that with booze, sort of. I think, you know, when I'm in a certain condition or a certain situation, I'm just like, you know, I'd just love to sit out in the sun and drink a bunch of booze, but like a whole lot. But I'm just like, I put it on hold for a while to see how long I can take it, because I've just got so many other things I need to do. As for tips for anybody else who's trying to get over alcohol, I say the only thing you really can do is find an alternative. And I don't mean fulfillment in the way of like mentally necessarily, I mean like for something else. I mean, although if religion does it for you, that's good, but I mean like you need something to keep yourself busy, distracted. I think that's the only real way to do it. If you're sitting around being lazy and drinking all the time, I know that some people drink worse, a lot worse than me, you know, they drink every day, and the scary thing is that you don't give your body time to recover. You will really do a number on your liver, and your liver will go from ending up looking like this red, purplish, bloody organ to a well done steak, and it's pretty horrible, you know, like people who drink a box a day or they drink every day, just, I know somebody similar to that, just don't do it. And if you want to pull away from it, I just say find something that's gonna, you know, entertain you, you know, like for me, I find having purpose in my activities helps me from it. I mean, when I was just drawing, I didn't have enough, that wasn't enough of a distraction for me to get me away from alcohol, because, well, I would sit around and then I would also drink, and then I would like go out and sit in the graveyard and drink and things like that. But right now, it's like my hobbies sort of take up my time, but my hobbies aren't something that I just enjoy doing. It's not like, say, how somebody might sits around like playing Xbox or something. It's something that I can make money from. So that's my drive for it, right? To try and get myself out of the situation. So my recent hobby is my unlikely one, which is doing woodwork, and I only figured that out because, you know, I started working with a jigsaw, and then I started working with a circular saw, and I thought, well, hey, you know, I mean, I kind of suck at this. I'm not always gonna. I always had an issue when I was younger, you know, like cutting straight lines and things when I was in school and stuff, and I never thought it was anything that I would really have much luck with, and I was really scared of saws, you know, like I didn't want to put my fingers near them or anything. But I realized if you know what you're doing to a degree, like, you can avoid a lot of potentially bad situations, and you don't really have to put your hands near it. You're doing the right sort of thing, you can avoid a lot of potential injuries and stuff. Yeah, so I'm a lot better with using certain things that I wouldn't have used to, and I find it is actually really quite satisfying, especially when I've made something, even though I get pissed off that it's not to perfection, because I really like my dimensions and like levels of everything to be completely like flat and like done properly. So I like to have just everything done neat and like measured properly, and not have like two boards that are like uneven kind of thing, like so it pisses me off if I screw up with that. But at the same time, it kind of helps me to look at what to look out for on the next time, you know, to improve on it. But certain things I don't really understand how to do, but I just need to tell myself, well, if I don't know how to do it, I just need to watch how other people do it a bit more. And just because I don't know how doesn't mean I can't find out how, you know, because I can look at what other people are doing and learn from them and stuff. But that's such an unlikely hobby for me, so that's what I do all the time now. It's not the most profitable thing really, but it's keeping me busy. And then after that, I just need to stop procrastinating doing with the tattoo thing, because I know that half the reason I put off is because I'm worried that I'm going to screw it up. But when I really get into it, it's actually quite fun to do. It's the same with drawing, if I can get past the stress of it. So there's that and that. So I reckon if you're wanting to find something to distract you from alcohol, get a hobby that you can potentially make you money, because if you realize that you can get money out of it, that'll help you to work harder at it to get to the level that you want, so that you can start making money. And when you actually start not just doing it, but like finding it fun and getting some results from it, that's when you can invest more time into it, to the point that you're actually really concentrating on it, putting a lot of time in, and that will help you to stop drinking as much, because you'll be too distracted, or you might be. I mean, that's just what's happened to me. So that'd be my advice for people who drink all the time and waste away the days, especially if you're getting older. It's just, you know, find something of purpose, you know, like a skill that'll help you to gain money, you know. And if you can, find more than one. Right now I've got like 3 or 4, so yeah, find things, learn as much as you can about it, so you don't, you know, just fuck around, but you're actually going to get better at it. Do a lot of research and things like that, and just put in a lot of time on. If you can't handle not drinking, and you end up being somebody who's just compelled hopelessly to drink every day, then I would advise you to look into, there's a supplement that I take, it's called liver support. It's basically, bodybuilders also take it. It's milk thistle and dandelion root extract, which is from both of them, and they're not like a harmful chemical or anything that can have side effects or other shit real badly. I mean, some people might get a bit of nausea with it, maybe, I mean, as you can with, like, everybody's allergic to something, but generally these are just 2 things. Milk thistle is known for really a good liver support, which bodybuilders take with oral steroid cycles to help their liver perform better, because it's really harsh on the liver. And dandelion root, well, that's just the that yellow thing that grows on the lawn. It's considered a weed, but it actually is has some health benefits, and some people reckon that it's one of the properties can be anti-cancer, or can treat it, or something to do with it. I haven't looked into it enough, but yeah, so it's, from what I can tell, it's a relatively safe thing. It's not like taking a pharmaceutical tablet. It's a natural herb, so that can help your liver to basically work more efficiently, I think. So it doesn't have to work as hard if you're drinking all the time. I recommended it to this guy. I used to hang out with this guy when I used to live in a bigger city. This guy was a Fijian guy who he'd smoke quite a lot, but he would drink nearly like every night, and I gave him a bottle of this stuff because I said, you know, this shit might help because it'll help your liver to process things a bit better. But yeah, I'd say if you can't stop drinking, take that, have a look into it, because it might help your liver to not take things as harshly as you know, when you're taking a whole lot of alcohol anyway. I'm going to see how long I can stay off the booze for, and I'll probably get back to this at some point, but right now I can't say I feel better being off it, but I haven't really been depressed so much because I've just been too occupied with my time. Really is just, I haven't had a lot of time. I'm just distracted doing these jobs all the time, and as well as that, most of the time I'm just thinking about getting through all this to the future, so I don't really want to sit around moping as much. So anyway, see you in the next one.